Time to welcome a new era of efficient, powerful, lightweight laptops at affordable prices because they're making waves in 2024 with no signs of stopping. With brands now using AI tech, smart chipsets, and Snapdragon intelligent processors, you can get a compact machine that powers you through both business and creative projects from wherever your work takes you. So let me introduce you to the Medion Super Charged 14 Elite. It's brand new for 2024 with an impressive lineup of specifications, a beautifully sharp and clear 14-inch display, and the latest mod cons that you could possibly need for much less than you'd think. Taking it out the box, you get simple packaging and a few guides with a long charging cable. The long battery life is definitely one of the highlights of this laptop, but having a good power cable just makes using this laptop on the go even better. It's a USB-C charger with a cable length of 58 inches to the power brick with an additional length to the plug socket, making it plenty long enough for reaching any power input out of reach. I do like the added touch of printing helpful information like where the ports are and any safety information onto the keyboard dust cover inside. Let's dive into the design here. Its beautifully thin silhouette and 14-inch size makes it perfect for carrying around with you, and with an all-aluminium housing, it's definitely built to withstand any knocks or scratches easily without the threat of damaging the interior. I love this smoky grey colouring too. Everything about it just screams minimal efficiency, letting it easily fit into any environment. Though light doesn't mean flimsy by any means. It's got a little bit of weight to it, coming in at around 1.4 kilograms. Opening it up, the flex on the screen angle is pretty average, positioning it just past the 90-degree mark. It's good for placing on a lap or keeping the screen at a visible angle, and as the clarity of the screen is so crisp, I'm pretty happy with the flexibility. The hinge is also really strong, holding it in place wherever I position it. For the inputs, you get everything necessary for connecting devices and displays while charging at the same time. On the left, you get a full-size HDMI, a USB 3.2 Gen 2, and a USB-C with display and power delivery. On the right, there's a Kensington lock, a USB 3.2 Gen 1, audio and microphone jack, and a webcam privacy switch with a green LED light to let you know when it's covered. It's definitely efficient with the limited inputs, but if you're someone who wants to take a portable workstation around with you and is happy to compromise on the inputs in exchange for a more compact machine, then this is plenty. In terms of built-in accessories, you do get an HD webcam with a privacy shutter and a decent microphone. The output is surprisingly good, working well in low light conditions with adaptive brightness and plenty of filters like background blur and portrait lighting. There's even sound reduction effects applied that really help when making calls in a noisy work environment. Lastly, it's good to note that the power button on the upper right hand side of the keyboard does double as a fingerprint scanner. If you love those personalized security features, then this is a great extra layer of security for keeping sensitive data safe when working in public spaces. The keyboard and trackpad are very generous in size. Now, I love the flat profile of the keys and the wide square shape, making it easy to type out documents quickly. Typing is comfortable with the keys being quite shallow, and the sound is quiet enough to not be distracting at all. I also love the inclusion of an integrated backlight. It's pretty bright in the daylight and helps massively when working at night with the keys being so dark. With no stages other than on and off though, it's easily switched using the Alt and spacebar to use when needed, saving battery life. The touchpad's also quite large, measuring about 4.5 inches across, perfect for those bigger hands. It's a silkier texture than the body and has a strong clicky left and right control as well as decent sensitivity when tapping and scrolling. Now you might notice there's an addition of a Copilot Key here. 2024 has seen a huge increase in AI integration within laptops, and Microsoft's Copilot Plus assistant is one you'll become familiar with when using Windows OS from now on. Amongst all the other AI enhancements that this laptop has, this is the one you'll most actively use, considering it's great for getting quick answers to questions, helping with organization tasks or information analysis, and mainly being a readily available tool that doesn't rely on accessing cloud-based data to source information. Now let's move on to the visuals. This display is stunning. It's a 16:10 aspect ratio with a 2.8K 2880 by 1800 resolution WQXGA Plus panel. It may sound complicated, but it really does speak for itself. It's bright, vivid, and sharp, making it perfect for working on documents, watching movies, and even using for professional creative work. It's just super versatile. I've tried editing a bit of video content here, and it is safe to say that I really trust the color accuracy here. It does have 100% sRGB color as well as 120Hz refresh rate, making even fast-moving images really smooth and easy on the eyes. Medion does suggest that it can reach up to 400 nits brightness, which isn't particularly bright compared to some of its competitors, but even considering this, I thought the display was plenty bright enough in both the dark room and natural light. The colours are what pop the most, really standing out watching animated scenes in movies and playing back high quality content. You'll also be really pleased to know that it has an amazing viewing angle with no loss of clarity when looking at the display from a sharp angle, so you can always see the screen from wherever you're comfortable. So let's take a look at those all important specifications. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite processor and Adreno GPU with 8GB dedicated RAM. You'll also notice that extra addition of the Qualcomm Hexagon NPU as well for all of your AI processing processes, which works independently rather than accessing online data for local processing only. It's much safer than using online AI processes, as your data is always private and it works in the background, making your overall PC performance much faster than any other lightweight productivity laptop before 2024. It's also surprisingly blessed with either 16GB or 32GB of RAM and 500 to 1TB internal SSD storage depending on which specifications model you choose. These specs are very interesting as it opens up being able to use this laptop for video editing and design software as well as everyday tasks. It's supported enough to render footage in Adobe Premiere. Of course, this does require you to run the Intel-based versions of the apps due to the ARM restrictions software, and if there's no alternate version available, it might even restrict the use of certain apps altogether until they develop the ARM version. But for now, I didn't see any issues with the Intel-based version of the Adobe apps when creating basic changes to small project files. Now, I know you've been waiting for the verdict on the battery life, considering one of the big selling points of the supercharged machines is the benefits of AI optimization. Well, I can certainly say it's the honest highlight here. I've hardly had to charge it at all, it just keeps going. I've got the 65 watt-hour battery, which is great on its own, but even after using it for a few hours at a time, the battery hardly goes down. When it was at 74%, I put it on charge for 30 minutes, and it was already back up to 100%. I did have 4 videos playing in the background while using the notepad to note down a few ideas, and over the space of 2 hours, without letting it sleep, the battery went down by only 20%. I do believe this could easily last the suggested 17 hours when using it for normal everyday tasks, with sleep breaks throughout the day. Finally, let's touch on the sound quality. The speaker output here is pretty loud, and when playing a few trailers, I can easily hear it from across the room even on half volume. The quality isn't as rich as I'd like, but for listening to videos, it's clear and a brilliant resource to have. But don't take my word for it, here's a quick sound sample. So what are your thoughts on the Medion Supercharged Elite Laptop? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.